Self-led classroom is the short version of it is how do we apply IFS principles in a classroom so as to affect not just the learning moment. That's the sort of low-hanging fruit. It's really about how do we associate love with education so that when our students leave our classroom, what they take with them is a sense that they belong, that they're welcome, that they're wanted in that space, that it's normalized for them, and that even when things get perhaps challenging or distressing, they have enough self in the system, so to speak, to be able to handle what might be coming their way. So yeah, it's uh, it's how to make sure that all of who I am can show up as a student because uh, the teacher is self-led enough to be able to handle what I've got.
Mhm. We've had through a few of our conversations talking about how many teachers or educators or even IFS therapists that are running groups, right, leave that space and they're tired or they feel like they're constantly managing kids' behaviors or they're constantly losing their patience, right? And part of this training is how can we invite the teachers to do the U-turn without being trained IFS therapists so
Yeah,
they more aware of what's going on for them so they can attune, right? This word of attunement feels really big in this space. So they can attune with the kids in a different way. So they're not losing their patience as much. So they're not going home completely burnt out at the end of the day. So they're not thinking about their day in the morning and saying, oh, another day in my grade 6 room or another day with these
right.
particular partners, right? So how can we really help benefit the students, but also this is really also for teachers and educators and how can we help them make their days flow differently with some of these tools and some of this material.
I would um, start with a personal anecdote. Uh, I'm I'm a dinosaur on the job. I'm 32 years in, and though my body's gotten older and I've gotten a little bit more ragged around the edges, I have more energy to show up for my students today than I did even on my first day on the job. So if that's not enough testimonial, then let me say it from this viewpoint. One of the things that's really wonderful is that we meet all of our metrics in the classroom because we don't have resistance. Since I don't have classroom management issues going on with my students, and part of the reasons part of the reason why I don't have classroom management issues with my students is because we have a system in the room, and it's not just me, but the rest of the students as well, where we are able to meet the needs of the person who's next to us. And so it's needs-based responsiveness. That's one of the themes that runs through the classroom. And because folks feel like their needs are being responded to, there's really no impetus for acting out or shutting down. We have folks who, because we're attuned to one another, really because we're attuned to ourselves and we're able to read what we need, we can finally speak it. We have the vocabulary to talk about this thing that we need. We have the ability to turn to somebody, either to the teacher or to a fellow student, and say, hey, this is what my need is. And the person can then respond because it's a really safe and welcoming environment for that vulnerability. So, in that attunement reduces resistance. It reduces resistance in the students, and it really reduces resistance in the teacher's body. So instead of coming in all locked up and already tense and worn down, we're in the flow through many more hours of the day, and things still pop up in the course of our day, but we are so much more elastic and receptive and frankly responsive. It's that attunement wherein the responsiveness occurs.